here's how we're going to start today. In honor of your trip to Europe that I can't wait to hear all about, and I'm sure you drink a ton of beer.
Okay.
I am cracking my Milwaukee Third Space Marquette Golden Ale.
Ooh. Wait, are we recording?
Yeah, I put this on.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect.
I wanted to hear the crack.
Yeah.
I hope everybody can hear the crack of my beer. I hope I don't offend too many people, but this is in honor of Marquette beating the Badgers this year.
Ooh.
In basketball. It's a big game, Jen. I know you love sports. It's a big game.
Yeah, I do love sports. Well, actually, part of my trip involves going to a sport.
Well, that was just to see the hot men, right?
I'll get to it. I'm drinking two things. One's alcoholic, one's not.
Okay.
But I'm into right now I'm into being a housewife right now without having a husband or kids.
Well, you're Rachel's housewife.
I am. I am. She actually, when I landed, I got home on Tuesday and she sent me a text that said, "When are you coming home, wife?" And I was like, soon. But so I've been into mad cooking. I've been cooking a ton. And I've been on TikTok. They have the people who teach you how to like not have food waste or how to like use all of the item.
Oh.
So I made tea with pineapple skins.
That's very Amish of you.
I know. I made a pineapple salsa first. And then I'm drinking a glass of rosé.
Okay.
But tonight, speaking of my wife, Rachel, we're watching Elf. So I bought some mulled wine at this place. There's a bar up the street from me called Simon's.
Okay.
And it's a 90-year-old bar. And it's cash only. Actually, when you finally come down to visit me, I'm taking you there. You will love it. It feels like a Wisconsin bar.
I would love to do that. Funny thing about Jen and I is that I am constantly for the past 10 years of my life telling her that I'm going to come visit her in Chicago, and it's never happened. It's like Chicago is Botswana compared to Milwaukee. I just can't get there.
Botswana. That's hilarious. Yes, you have been telling me that for 12 years, actually. And yeah, but I live in such a cute little neighborhood. It feels very I think you'd like it. But anyways, they make their own mulled wine every year, and you can buy a jug of it,
Oh, yeah.
So I got some of that today.
Have you ever tried to make your own mulled wine?
Yes, I have.
How did it turn out?
My memory right now is making me remember not well.
Yeah, I've tried to make it twice, and I consider myself a fairly good cook. Nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And I even bought good wine.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know if they add a lot of sugar to it or something.
Yes.
I don't know.
I'm sure. Whenever I cook for myself, I try not to use a ton of sugar and stuff.
Yeah.
And have you ever made a recipe, though, where you're like, I'm not going to put in that sugar that it says to put in, and then you make it and you're like, oh, well, I guess I am.
That and salt. It's
Oh, God, I love salt. You know that. I eat so much salt. So, yeah. So, cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, clinking through the screen. If you could see us, we are essentially putting our drinks onto the screen of our computer.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah. So, I'm back from my trip. I got back 2 days ago.
I missed you.
I know. I missed you, too. I still have a little bit of jet lag, so I've been up at 5 a.m. each day. But that kind of makes me feel good.
Yeah. Are you productive, or do you just lay in bed staring at the ceiling?
Yesterday, I was not productive at all.
Yeah.
Today, I have been.
Okay.
But I had a fantastic trip, and I am really pumped to tell you about it. It was 9 days, so I'm going to obviously,
Yeah, condense it.
Thank you.
By a year into this podcast, we're going to have sounds that just equal words that everybody's going to know what they are. When we do, it means condense.
Yeah. But a lot of the podcast is me not knowing what word to use and you helping me. So, but yeah, so the whole point of me going was A, I love Europe. I try to go at least twice a year. But B, I wanted to do some of the Christmas markets.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And obviously a huge touristy thing, which I knew, but it was, Munich was busy. Prague was worse.
Okay.
But if you're prepared for that, I wasn't. I'm usually not prepared when I go somewhere new, but I was thinking about this, and I think it's what makes me a better planner because I go in and I'm like, what not to do. So then when I plan these trips, right, I can be like, so here's what I did, and you're not going to do that.
So I think that's how we should approach all of your travel episodes are here are the dumb things Jen did on her trip and here's what not to do. That could be a theme for your website.
Yes.
Here's dumb shit I've done.
But like it's entertaining. So I'll say when I come so I'm going to entertain you today, Megan, because when I come home from a trip and I'm like telling people about my trips, I know they're entertained. Now, would they do the same thing that I did? No. But that's why I am a planner.
Right. Makes sense.
I always say, even like as a wedding planner, you know, all my couples are like, oh, you're so organized. And in my head, I'm like, if only they saw my like desk right now or my room or whatever. Okay. So my journey begins. I get on a plane. I fly to Munich. I get there and I have done minimal research. Like I know there's markets there, but I want to do one in particular.
Okay.
So I get there. I ended up staying in an Airbnb room. So you know how Airbnb has a couple, well, they have like two options. You can like obviously get your own apartment or house or whatever.
Yep.
But there's also the option of just renting a room with somebody.
Okay.
Like a 2-bedroom apartment. I stayed. So I was in one room and the woman who owned the apartment was in her room.
Do you know who's in the other room when you sign up?
No.
They should show you a photo.
Oh, there's photos.
There's photos.
So for example, Elizabeth was my host.
Okay.
Hey, Elizabeth. I told her I was going to shout her out. She was awesome. She's a lawyer and an artist.
Okay.
I mean, come on.
Very cool.
Yeah. And she lives in a 2-bedroom flat. And so she rents out one of her rooms for people. So I can see in the listing her picture, the reviews, her rating, all of that stuff.
So what if you would have gotten there and there was some like 55-year-old troll living there?
I mean, I would have just been like, yeah, this sounds about right, you know? I'm not even going to lie. This was my second time doing this. And both time I stayed in a house with women.
Yep.
But I'm not going to lie. I often look to see if there's like hot men first because I have this romanticized idea that I'm going to like come into Munich and stay with this gorgeous man and then he's going to fall in love with me.
Well, of course it's going to happen. You just haven't hit the right city yet. So follow along on Jen's journey as we hunt for the hot European man.
Well, wait. I haven't even got to Prague.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. But no, I end up both times staying with women because I feel that's safe. It's safer.
Mm-hmm.
So I get into town. Now, I barely slept on the plane because I had an old white man behind me. Mm-hmm. And he was being a real dick, to be just very direct and frank. He was like jabbing my head, you know, like his TV screen behind my head.
Oh, God.
And I did turn around because, you know, I wasn't being a Karen. I just was like, hey, you don't have to push so hard. Like, that's the back of my head. Hee hee. And his response was, well, it must be Superman.
Ew.
Yeah, it was so gross. Then I was like, you must be. But he was still continued to be a prick. And then he was like, I wasn't sleeping well just because. Yeah. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And I was awake, but he was like pressing his knee into the back of the chair because he wanted me to wake up. Like just a dickhead.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is dickish.
So I haven't slept, but you get a sense of adrenaline, you know, when you're traveling and you get somewhere.
Yep.
So I get myself together. I had a tour scheduled and off I go. So haven't slept, haven't eaten, go on this great tour. It wraps at 9:00. I'm exhausted, 9 p.m. So how many hours have I been awake now? 18 or whatever it is.
Oh my God.
I'm starving and I'm a little uncomfortable, you know, like I'm just, there's a lot of things going.
Well, you don't know where you are.
No, exactly. And I'm feeling a lot of feelings. The tour guide was so wonderful. She like dropped me off at a place, but like Germans individually are really wonderful people, but as a whole, you know, when you don't know them, they're just very direct and a little cold.
Yeah.
So I needed to be held, you know?
Well, you should have went home to Elizabeth.
I should have, actually. She would have made me tea and we could have talked about boys and it would have been great. So I go to 3 restaurants and I get 3 very German, like rude, one couple. I was just like, it was not good. So I ended up walking outside. And I don't know if this happens to you, but you know when you're going to cry and you just can't, like you're just like,
Yeah.
like, please just don't do this to me, self. I ended up crying in the streets of
Oh.
Munich.
Well, they're all German people walking past you. I'm sure nobody even thought anything about it. They probably just bumped into you. I'm sorry. I'm probably offending a whole bunch of German people.
Yeah.
I should look to see if there's anybody in Germany listening to this. There was somebody from Peru. Don't say anything bad about Peru.
Oh, I love Peru. That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
No, I told Elizabeth that I'm going to send her this. So, Elizabeth, you're wonderful. We love you. I said individually, Germans are so nice.
Yeah.
But when they don't know you. And they were all old men. Men. That's how I feel today.
You have an old man complex.
Yeah, like I'm just not into them. They're just so grumpy. So I ended up getting a sausage anyways. I go home, I sleep, it's fine. I hate my sauce.
The way you said that. So I ended up getting a sausage.
So I
promise I was not drinking before we got on this podcast.
So I got myself a sausage and off I went back to my apartment. So then the next day was when Munich really just turned into a magical place for me because I found that one market. Mm-hmm. So the one market I wanted to go to was a pink market.
Oh, I saw pictures you posted. It looked beautiful.
My God. It really was. And so if you don't know me, my favorite color is pink. My hair is pink. I mean, it's like just a color that makes me it's my color. Yeah. It's me. It's pink. So I'm like walking around. There's so many markets. I've only can talk about Prague and Munich, but if you want to go see Christmas markets, Munich, it was amazing. Like it was just, there were so many. I think there's like 18.
Wow.
Yeah. And each one's different, which is so cool because there was one that was, you know, when you think Christmas market in the main square right by the church, but then there was like a medieval one. There was one in the old castle, like the King's Court.
Oh my God.
And that one's more geared towards children. So they had some like creepy animatronics, and some are very small and some are large, you know, but there was one where the roof of the bar was on fire, like lit on like torches. And Elizabeth was telling me that there's this famous drink that you can get that they light it on fire. That's probably where you could have gotten that drink and whatever. But of all these beautiful markets, the one that I wanted to see was this fully pink market. It was started as like the LGBT plus community market.
Okay.
And it's very tiny, very popular. Yeah. You know, it's like people go to see it and everything is pink.
From the pictures, I couldn't tell. Was it pink because, and we'll put some pictures up of this, but yeah, was it all pink because of like pink lights, like wedding up lights, or was the stuff there pink too?
Yes. Everything. Yeah. The lighting was insane though. You know, up lighting. I mean, but it was like, the whole square was projected pink. It was so cool. It's packed when you get there, but like walking there, you feel like you're alone. There's not a ton of people outside. And then you like turn this corner and it's just like this.
It's amazing what they can do with lighting. I'm sure any DJs or sound people, lighting people who are listening to this are like, yeah, of course. We know it transforms a wedding and everything, but to be able to do that outside for a whole market, the pictures looked amazing. It kind of reminds me when I was going to school in France, in Lyon, I stumbled upon this town square and it was Christmas time. Now they don't have like the big Christmas markets as much as Germany, but they had some sort of Christmas festival going on. And I don't know if you've ever seen online the TikTok videos or Instagram videos where they project stuff onto people's house to make it look completely different. So you stood in the middle of this town square and they did it to all of the old buildings all around the town square set to music. And it was like the transformation of the city. being built, crumbling down like fire. And it was all done with lights.
Holy cow.
It was one of the most amazing things. And here, I'm going to date myself. I didn't have a cell phone, so I couldn't I have no video of it, right?
A memory.
It's a memory. Wow. The olden days.
Look at that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool.
But to your point, it was insane. I love still being in awe of stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's nice to be like, wow. It was packed, so I just did a loop and I took off, but it was so cool.
Very cool. I'm glad you got to see it, since that was one of the things on your bucket list.
Me too.
And you came completely unprepared.
Yeah, totally. And speaking of, I'll tell you all right now, make sure you make dinner reservations. I absolutely ate at McDonald's twice.
All Jen had was sausages. She's full of sausages.
Sausages and burgers. Yeah, Munich I did not do well. So I would do it, again, I would do it so much differently for, like, anytime I send anybody on a trip, we have dinner reservations. Because I even tell my couples, I'm like, you can cancel them.
Yeah.
But you need to have them.
Right.
So before anybody goes on a trip, I have their dinner reservations. We know where they're eating. And then I get there and I'm like, because I think sometimes I do think, because I'm solo, it's easy to wiggle your way into places. And that has worked for me.
Yeah.
But Munich, absolutely not. And I would say, make sure you make reservations March through the end of the year. It's a busy tourist city the whole year.
Well, I'm sure in the fall it's German Fest.
Well, it's Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest?
Yeah,
that's what it is.
So it's like you have summer and then Oktoberfest and then essentially the market.
Yeah.
But McDonald's was good if you're in Munich.
So what was your favorite McDonald's menu item that maybe they do not have here? Did you try anything different?
I had one of their chicken. It wasn't too different from here, but I had like a chicken chicken schnitzel.
I love how we're reviewing McDonald's.
It's so on brand for me. Like, I can't even make this shit up. When you're traveling in Europe too, by the way, this is another little tip and I'll tie it back into McDonald's.
Thank God.
Don't worry. I'm not done talking about McDonald's. But if you need to use the bathroom, you leave your apartment or hotel and you're gone all day.
Yeah.
So if you can't get into the restaurant to eat and use the bathroom, you need euros so that you can go into even the public bathrooms. You need a coin. And the woman at the McDonald's bathroom was so nice. I feel like she recognized me the second time, and I didn't know if it was because she was like, oh, and, like, here she is again. Or if we just, we're kindred spirits, but whatever. She was wonderful. Anyways, bring coins, make dinner reservations.
Okay.
And overall, I feel like Munich for me was not magical.
Okay.
The markets were great. Would I go back to Munich? I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah. It's okay to say no.
It is.
There's a lot of places in the world, and you don't necessarily have to be in love with all of them.
Exactly. I will say the airport is insane. It's so amazing, though. They have sleep pods there. Have you ever seen sleep pods?
Oh, that terrifies me just thinking about it. I'm so claustrophobic.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but it's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and the other thing, taxis are frickin' expensive. Do not do it. Do not. It cost me €100, over €100, to get what was probably the equivalent of 30 miles. Which even in Chicago, that's like getting myself to O'Hare, and it's like $45.
Uh-huh.
It was insane.
Okay. So what are some alternatives to that then?
Train.
Okay.
Take the train. Figure out the train and take the train.
Mm-hmm.
Or budget, knowing you're going to spend $200 just getting yourself to and from.
Yeah, sometimes it's a matter of just knowing what to expect, right? If you're like, I don't want to take the train, I do want to take a taxi, as long as you know that's going to happen.
Totally.
It's probably less shocking.
Well, it's funny too. I travel so much, and this was a very budget trip for me because I spent all my money on all the other trips I took this year. So I was just trying to be more budget friendly.
So hence the McDonald's.
Yeah, well, that was also just poor planning. Oh man. Do as I say, not as I do.
All right. So you got through Munich. You said goodbye to Elizabeth.
I did, who I really liked.
And then you went to Prague. So did you take a train there?
No, I flew.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you something a little personal that happened.
Oh boy.
Because, yeah. So, on a personal note, I am at the Munich airport and I'm, getting a post ready to go, sponsor posts that I want people to see.
Mm-hmm.
And long story short, this is going to sound so bullshit, but I somehow ended up in my blocked folder, and my ex, so not my ex-husband, but after I got divorced, I dated this man, and I blocked him, if that tells you anything about our relationship.
Well, it tells me about the end of your relationship.
Exactly. So when we dated, it was long distance, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he had no desire to live in Chicago, and I had no desire to live out east, and bada bing, bada boom, whatever. Well, I click on his profile because I don't know, it's human. I'm a human.
Right.
How can you not?
Oh, I mean, come on. Yeah. I'm surprised you blocked him.
I know. He doesn't post anything, so it wasn't even fun to follow him. But in his bio, it said that he lives in Chicago.
What?
Exactly.
So he's here now.
He is in Chicago now. And I spiraled.
So we have to find out everything about him.
Yeah. And then ruin his life.
Whoa, that got harsh really fast.
No, yeah, I know. It's so funny because I'm like the opposite of that type of person. When I left my marriage, he deserved that, and I just was like, bye, take care. I'm done with my rosé. I'm like, I need to get another glass as I'm telling the story. So I spiral, because it's like, when you're like, why did he come to my territory? Blah, blah, blah. So I'm texting my friend. I almost texted you, but I was like, I'll save it for the podcast. That's funny. Now we just talk through when we record. But I'm like, come on, you don't want to move here. Anyways.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, you're in Europe, let it go. And so I was like, fine.
Oh, good thing you didn't tell me, because I would have gotten you all fired up.
Oh gosh, yeah. There's that great meme that's like, when you tell your boyfriend it's okay, but then you go talk to your friends and you come back and you're like, no, the board of directors said that it's not okay. So I'm just feeling a lot of those, feels.
Yeah.
And I get to Prague and I check, first of all, I get dropped off. Here's another little tip, people, when you're traveling in Europe. Oftentimes, especially when you're staying in like the old towns, like the old squares, a taxi can't just roll up to the front of your hotel.
Makes sense.
In this case, I arrive on December 5th, which is the day before St. Nick comes.
Mm-hmm.
So the taxi stops and he's like, you have to walk like 2 blocks. And, you have your big American suitcase and it's over all the cobblestone. And there's a festival going on right outside of my hotel. And there's all the Krumpuses and the St. Nick's.
Yeah.
And the Christkind angel or whatever.
Yeah.
So cool. But I'm like, pardon.
I don't think that's German.
No, well, I'm in Czech now. I'm in the Czech Republic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, I don't listen to you, remember.
No, I know. But you can say pardon.
Okay.
Because I ask, I try. And you can say ciao everywhere. Ciao, ciao.
Oh.
Pardon.
Interesting.
Yeah. So get into my hotel and I, change. Well, no, that's not true. I do change. But here's what I do. I am going to take myself out on a date, is what I decide. Okay? So
yep.
I do I wash my hair. I put on makeup. I get cute. And I walk into the city because I'm like, I'm not going to let my ex, ruin this for me. Not ruin, but just even ruin a night.
Yep.
And I get up on the Charles Bridge, which is a famous bridge there. And immediately I am in love with the city. Prague is one of the most beautiful cities I have ever been in.
Wow.
So surprising to me. Like, was not expecting that.
Like the architecture and everything?
Yes. And it's just so romantic, everything. The architecture, you're on this river. I've never been to Paris. That's what it kind of felt like from what I've heard about Paris. Like, it's just like,
okay,
you just feel like da 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 da. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in Prague, you can get day of tables, still make reservations, especially if you want to do any of the like fancier fine dining experiences. But if you are like me, you will eat not at McDonald's. I am proud to say that I walked by that McDonald's 10 times and I didn't eat there. So I find this restaurant and this woman gets me a table and I ordered some food. I drank a bottle of wine. I was having a great time by myself. When I left, I told the waitress, because she was just really nice and we like chatted a bit. And I just said, I needed a really great night. So thank you for being a part of that. And she was like, oh, you know, you're welcome, whatever. So I start to walk back to my apartment or my, I live there now. Spoiler alert.
I'd probably visit you there more than Chicago.
Yeah, you probably would. You're such an ass. So, but as I'm getting closer, I'm like, nah, I'm going to see if I can find like a bar or whatever. So in Prague, there's Old City and the New City. So the Old City, you know what? I don't remember which one's which.
You had a bottle of wine. You don't know at this point where you're going. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. But I find this bar called the Blue Light. And I'm going to say, if you are in Prague, go to the Blue Light. It was one of the coolest bars I've ever been in while traveling. So I'm from Wisconsin. I love myself a divey feeling bar. Yeah. This is what it was like. There's paper money taped all over.
Okay.
Everyone's very casual, but it's a cocktail bar. So I had the best espresso martini I have ever had in this dive bar, right?
Nice.
And it had gin in it.
Oh, okay.
Weird, right?
That is weird. Although last weekend we went down to Lost Whale because they had like a Christmas theme bar down there. And I had some sort of espresso drink. Maybe it wasn't necessarily a martini, but it was their take on it. And it had tequila in it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I walk up to the Blue Light and there's this guy standing outside. And I was like, is this fun in here? Like, I've had a bottle of wine. He's like, yeah. So I go in. Anyways, I start talking to him very casually. And he was born in the US, but grew up in between Prague and Germany. So that was interesting. He was born in New Jersey. Shout out to New Jersey. And then these three men come in and they sit to the right of me. And they asked the other guy a question. And so I turn around and they asked where I was from. And I said, oh, you know, I'm from the States. This is my first time here. Go back to talking to this other guy. And all of a sudden, the music cuts. The bar starts singing Happy Birthday. The bartender brings a shot and sets it in front of me and then lights it on fire as the bar continues to sing Happy Birthday to me.
What? Spoiler, it wasn't her birthday.
It was not my birthday. I'm a Virgo, as everyone knows. So then I do the shot because I didn't know what was going on. And one of the three guys, Andra, was like, welcome to Prague. So he had orchestrated that.
Okay.
So then I end up talking to him and he invites me to join him and his friends. This is on Thursday. He invites me to join him and his friends on Sunday to a hockey game.
Oh.
And I said, sure. Like, why not?
Because you've made no plans.
I have made no plans. So it was just such a fun night, right? It was very random, very wild. Fun. Like fun. Not wild. There was really nothing wild about it. Just a bottle of wine and a shot that was on fire.
I have to say that when you were telling this story at the start, you reminded us how you drank a bottle of wine and you're like, and I just stumbled into this bar and I didn't really know where I was. Do you know what it reminded me of? I don't know if you'll even remember this.
Oh, God. No, tell me.
It reminded me of when I was visiting you at UWM when we were in college. Because Jen went to UW Milwaukee and I was at Marquette. And we started at a house party. And then we left the house party and went out and went to this bar. And after the bar, we're like, let's stop at that house party again. It was fun. Let's see if people are still there. So we find the house and we open the door and we just go upstairs and we go up and we start talking to people and we realize that it's not the same house. And we spent at least 30 minutes in there thinking that we were at the same party and they all knew us and we're at the total wrong place.
I do not remember that.
Oh, the guy had a like chinchilla running around, and that's what set us off, where we're like, this can't be right.
No, I would have remembered the chinchilla. I love that they just let us stay there. Oh, Megan and I have so many stories.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so you got invited to a hockey game.
Oh, man. So, yeah. So I got invited to a hockey game.
Yes.
Then Friday, Saturday, I walked so much. I just loved it. The markets, meh, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
The markets didn't do much for me.
So Munich had better markets.
Big time. Hands down.
Yep.
But Prague had very nice people. So I guess it just depends on what you need in that moment.
Yes.
But lots of history. I, of course, did a couple tours. Oh, and the coolest thing about Prague is it's the best beer I have ever had in my life. Most of their beer is tank beer, which I don't really remember exactly what that means, but I do know it's not pasteurized.
Okay.
And it's like needs to be consumed within 5 to 6 days, but they go through so much beer that that's not a problem.
And that's like their normal beer.
Yes.
That a lot of people drink. Okay.
Yes. And it's so good. And anyways, it's just very good. Very good beer. Oh,
Yeah.
So the Czechs drink more beer per capita than any country in the world.
Really?
They drink the equivalent of 3 some type of measurement. I don't want to say liters, but pints.
Make it up. Sound confident, and we'll go with it.
Yeah. We're gonna get so trolled with all of the travel episodes when I'm like, they drink 3 milliliters of beer a day. Like, that's nothing. But they drink a shit ton of beer. And the US didn't even make the top 5.
Well, I mean, there's lots of different parts of the US. Isn't it like dry out in Utah or something?
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, I have a pop quiz question for you.
Okay.
After water, what is the second most consumed beverage in the world?
I mean, I feel like you want me to say beer.
Well, yeah, I do, but that's not the right answer. So, but we all thought it was beer. It's not. So take a guess.
Tea.
Yes. So I did learn that. And Bill Clinton went there. So after the communism ended there,
Okay.
and the wall came down in Berlin and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton went over there to Prague, and I'm just laughing because I'm like, me telling stories is just like, you know, in the game Telephone?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the 20th person to get it, and I'm like, so Bill Clinton, when the war was over, went over there. But he did. And instead of going somewhere fancy, the government leader of the Czech Republic took him to this dive bar, and Bill got drunk and got up on stage and played his saxophone.
Why did he have his saxophone with him? That's my very first question. Does he carry it around with him?
Well, I bet somebody maybe had one.
Okay.
But anyways, that's what I learned in Prague. So fast forward to Sunday, I go to the hockey game.
Yeah.
With my new boyfriend.
Yep.
And it was awesome. So he had bought seats that were like box seats, the equivalent. There weren't actual boxes, but it was like the premier seating or whatever.
Yeah.
So beer is free, food is free, but the food is not like hot dog, right? It's like steak tartare.
What?
Yeah, I had like the best steak tartare I've ever had at like this hockey game.
That's bizarre. I mean, it's awesome, but it's crazy.
The beer is in glasses with the handle, you know?
Yep.
So cool.
That is cool.
But it felt more like being at a soccer, like a football.
Okay.
I've been to a European football soccer game.
Yeah.
And there's like the chanting. So I did that, which was awesome. And I loved it because it was something I never would have done on my own.
For sure. Yeah.
The one thing I will say, of course, I'm not saying if you are a solo female traveler that you should date or anything. I mean, do whatever you're comfortable with, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that I've had a lot of really cool experiences by being open to like meeting people, like meeting locals and them telling me where to go or what to do. And it was awesome. Like I never would have done this. And it was such a cool experience.
Yeah.
Be safe, of course. Use your intuition if you are dating or whatnot.
Yep.
But we had a great time. And then I hung out with him the next night as well. And now we're in love. he wants to come to Chicago. So I'll keep you posted because maybe he'll come to Chicago, you guys, and then maybe there'll be the planner's passport wedding.
Have you been texting him?
Yeah.
Really?
And he asked for my address. He said he wants to send me a little something. And he bought me, I'll put a picture of this up.
Okay, but if he shows up at your door, I mean...
Oh, that's right. I just gave him my address.
Oh, you already gave it to him. Okay. Well, you might need to move. Okay.
So we were walking home from the game, and he bought me, like, I guess marionettes are popular there, like
great.
handmade
Yep.
marionettes. So he bought me one of a hockey player.
Did you ask him for it, or that was his pick?
No.
Okay.
It was his pick. So, I went with it.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Yep.
You know how I know you have been married for so long and you don't even remember what this, but maybe you will. But remember when you would first start dating somebody or you're on like the first or second date and you are just so nice?
Yes.
You're like, thank you for this marionette,
Right. Oh, yeah.
But then you're together for like 6 months and you're like, what is this?
No, I completely remember what this is like because Jared just turned on this really dumb movie the other night and he's like, I love this. This is one of my favorite movies. And I'm like, I know, because when we were dating, you turned it on and made me watch it and I pretended like I liked it and it's horrible and I'm going to go in the other room and do some work. Like,
I know. It is so freeing to be in a relationship after like 3 months. You can just like let your bitch flag fly, It's like, oh God. No, but it was very thoughtful. He was very thoughtful. And we'll see. We'll see if he comes and visits.
Can you post a picture of the marionette?
I will.
Okay.
He also invited me to come back in the spring because his family has a cottage like in the countryside of Czech.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, but we'll see. I've read Eat, Play, Love. Eat, Play.
That sounds like a more fun version of that story.
She met a guy though and got married.
Did she? I don't remember. Okay.
So in Eat, Pray, Love, she like gets divorced and then she decides to go to Europe to find herself. I've been to Europe 7 times since I got divorced trying to find myself. It's not working. Anyways.
You're missing out on the pray part.
No, that's right.
You're just eating.
Yeah, at McDonald's. Anywho, so then I came home.
Yep.
So Prague for me is a city that I will shout from the rooftops, you must go to. Munich, I'd say, if you're, if you want, if you want to go see really cool markets.
Sure.
Munich's a connecting city. So like all you need is maybe like 2 days. But also, I don't know, people like me, whatever. I'll plan you a trip to Munich. It'll be great. We'll make lots of dinner reservations.
Well, everybody likes different stuff. And this is just your opinion. And it's okay to not like it. We just have to be okay with what we are.
Exactly. Yes. Life happens in the middle, Megan. Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you a quick question. Where do you go next? Where's your next trip?
So I think I'm going to be in Jamaica at the end of January.
Okay.
And
cool.
It's going to be great because I'm going with Kathy, my mom.
Oh, Kathy. Does Kathy want to see me? Does she miss me?
I think she does.
Okay. Tell her that we should have a chips and cheese night at her house.
Well, she's listening. I'm sure she's listening.
Does she still live in the house you grew up in?
Yeah.
Oh, let's do an episode there.
Record from their house?
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be awesome. One time Megan had a birthday party or a sleepover or whatever, and everyone knew I didn't like scary movies. And then everyone's like, oh, we're going to watch, some movie that was not scary. And then they put on Silence of the Lambs. I was like, pretty quickly, I was like, this feels like it might be scary, you guys.
Why were you friends with me?
Because you kept my life spicy.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Cheese and horror. Okay.
Okay, so Jamaica with Kathy. And then I'm going to Hawaii in the beginning of January.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And I'm going with the family that I used to nanny for. I'm going to pet cows. They have a excursion where you can cuddle cows.
Yeah, on Jen's last trip, she was like cuddling llamas. Now she's petting cows.
Yeah, and then I go to McDonald's and eat burgers. God, I'm horrible. Anyways, well, this was fun. Thanks for letting me share my story. I will keep you posted if I get engaged or anything.
Perfect. Because next week we're getting back into wedding stuff. So it will fall right in line. I'm sure you'll be engaged by our next episode.
Probably, probably. All right. Well, talk to you then.
All right. Sounds good. See you later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much for joining us again this week. If you have a wedding or travel-related story of your own that you would like us to share in a future episode, send us an email to theplannerspassport@gmail.com.
And be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Planner's Passport, and follow all of our travel and wedding businesses, including We Roam Solo, Dare to Dream Travel, and Dare to Dream Weddings. And please, if you enjoy our show, remember to rate, review, and subscribe from wherever you are listening to this podcast.